Hi, welcome back to Dreamforce Live, the studio here. I actually have two very special guests who have joined us today. Well-known author, entrepreneur, and life and business strategist, Tony Robbins.
Great to see you.
Great to see you, Tony. Also his partner and co-author of Pathways to Growth, Walter Rogers.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you guys here. I really appreciate you taking time from your period here at Dreamforce to sort of chat with us a little bit. And there's so much we want to cover, including talking about tomorrow and talking about your book and talking about the relationship. What I'd really like to do is really start by level setting here a little bit, because I know, Tony, you're a well-known life coach that has worked with sports professionals, world leaders, and millions of other people around the world. And one thing I always like to ask is, what's one personal success that sticks out in your mind more than any other?
For people I work with, or for myself?
For yourself.
Myself. Gosh, hopefully my life.
Yeah.
My kids. I don't know. I think just the privilege to be at this stage in my life where I've had the opportunity to work with, at this point, 50 million people through my books and audios and videos, but I've had 4 million people go to my live events from 100 countries. Yeah. And there's very little I haven't seen at this point. I get the call when the fire starts, when the athlete's burning down on national television, I got to turn around Serena Williams right now. Sure. Or a call when a child is suicidal or an adult. And one of the things I'm most proud of in my life, I have thousands of suicide situations, not lost one. In fact, we have films now that are made that psychologists study and get credits for to do that. I'm very proud of that. But I think, I get the phone call when the President of the United States calls me and says, sure, I'm going to be impeached tomorrow morning. What should I do? And I go, could you call me sooner? So I really, at this stage of my life, had the privilege of working with some incredible people, one of which, obviously, over the last 13 years has been Mark Benioff, who's a dear friend.
Yeah, actually, Tony, you've known Mark for 20 years, I guess?
Well, he's been coming to my programs for 20 years. We interacted, and I didn't know who he was, starting out. But when he left one of my seminars and left Oracle and started Salesforce. So I've gotten to watch his ride. Sure. I'm just so privileged to be able to learn from him. He says he learns from me. I'm constantly learning from him. And how many people in the world are able to do what he's done and create a venue like this where you're adding this much value to people's lives, but also he's adding value in the community because of his values, and I'm proud of him.
He is, and Mark has said several times, Salesforce could not exist without the teachings and guidance he's received from you. So thank you very much, because it's also sort of rolled over in this huge community of not just entrepreneurs and thinkers and people that are working every day, but impacting a larger community, impacting a society, which is great. So looking at, you said 50 million people you've impacted over your career, 30 years. How have you gone from doing that over 30 years to making the decision to engage with Salesforce, not only as a customer, but now also as a partner?
Well, I became a really fan of Salesforce. Obviously, we saw our business jump about 38% the minute we put it in. Wow. But one of the challenges that I saw was, whether you're a small company, a medium-sized company, or a large company, when you get Salesforce, you get these incredible tools, but you got to integrate them into your company. Sure. And so you can hire Accenture, Deloitte, or a local regional group. But the challenge is we became more successful because we had better sales accounting. We knew what was going on to the moment, and we could manage our people better in all the companies I run. But what I didn't see is behavioral change, and that's what I'm best at, is actually creating a change where we use Salesforce as really the technology, but we're showing how to increase their business. So right now, companies since 2008, they've all worked incredibly hard to cut and become more efficient, more profitable, and the stock market reflects that. Yep. But you only cut so long, and after 4 years, companies today are starting to go, we got to do something about the top. You can't cut to growth. We're going to have to cut, we got to grow the top line, and it's also a turbulent economic time. So Baker Communications is one of my clients, and I was actually trying to purchase this company for about 6 years, and we kept collaborating. At one point, I said, what's your hottest product now? And they said, half our business is really working with some of the biggest clients of Salesforce. They're enterprise customers, and producing an immediate ROI of 18 to 30% in 13 weeks, growing divisions. Yeah. And I said, and how are you doing? He goes, well, I'm using all the stuff that we learned from you and all the stuff we learned. I said, we should be doing this together. So we decided to partner, and Mark became a partner with us. We met in Fiji, we launched the company, and now we're doing some pretty amazing things for companies like Dell and VMware and that and so forth.
And it's coaching in the cloud? Is that the...
Yes, I hear you talk to my partner here. Yeah, Walter, he's my co-author. Yeah, Walter, he's extraordinary.
Here's the book, available online, soft copy and hard copy in your bookstores, if you still use bookstores. Yeah. But Walter, tell me about your engagement here with Tony and where your mind goes, where your vision is.
The universe just connects things in very specific ways, and sometimes you just have to let it all unfold and happen. And for me, this all started in 2003 when I found Salesforce.com by doing a search for CRM on Google, because I needed a platform to grow my own business, Baker Communications. And then a couple of years go by, and I'm fortunate enough to meet with Tony, and we developed this amazing relationship and friendship, and we continued to collide, as he said, and we found that we had an amazing intersection of interests around really changing sales behavior.
Sure.
And what Salesforce.com enables us to do in our clients is to use it as a trigger to change very specific behaviors, focusing on the performance of the sales manager and sales teams to massively accelerate their performance in a very short period of time. And we were fortunate to do this with Dell right out of the gates, and that's really how the whole relationship blossomed.
It is awesome to hear what, Tony, you've done, and now partnering with Walter, how you've expanded that. Now, I know you continue your sessions, or you continue your seminars.
Yes, of course.
And I know you're engaging Salesforce there, and you're looking to reach out and further that communication.
Yes.
How are you looking to Salesforce to sort of leverage or continue that conversation going forward?
I feel really privileged because of my relationship with Mark. He lets me kind of test ride some of these things before they're available to the general public. So we use Chatter, obviously, and saw huge changes in Chatter, but I said I'd love to use Chatter in my community, meaning my clients. So Chatter Communities, we launched here in San Jose at an event we had for about 6,000 people. It was an extraordinary event, and it was ironic because the clients were able to communicate in real time, solve challenges, connect, develop little sub-families and groups of people of interests and of passions.
Sure.
But also we had a challenge, we had a media challenge where somebody put out a story that was completely false. There wasn't an ounce of truth.
Yeah.
But it was covered by about 100 newspapers overnight around the world because of the media cycle. And Fox News did a big piece on it. And our customers, because they were talking to each other, said, this is absurd. There's nobody, it was a seminar with a firewalk. No one was hospitalized. None of this is true. So they went after the media directly because they could talk to each other. And it was amazing. That and some legal work as well. Fox News, which is not an easy thing to do, did a complete retraction, said none of it was true, nobody was hospitalized, nobody had these third-degree burns and so forth. And it was all turned around because of the Chatter community primarily. So, but also, I love what I'm seeing happen now. We just implemented Work.com. And the idea that you could get people to be able to acknowledge each other in real time, be able to have people not look for performance review as something you do once a year, but I'm not responsible just you and my manager, we're all responsible to each other, and we can acknowledge each other. In my company, we put a big budget in where individuals can make the economic rewards up or to the side parallel. So peers are rewarding peers with real cash instead of just the rewards coming from up above.
Yeah.
And what it's done is it's created a different camaraderie. You think it would get abused, it doesn't. Because everything's open. Everybody sees what everybody says, what everybody rewards. That scrutiny and that truthfulness has created a shift in our culture in just a few weeks. I thought we already had a great culture, but it's taken it to another level. So I look at all these tools and I say, look, they allow us to connect in real time, to make things, improve things in real time all over the world, because we do business in 100 countries, most companies are virtual.
Yeah.
These are the tools that really change all that.
So, I mean, and that's happening right now.
As we speak.
Real time, as we speak. I mean, looking where you came from, where you are, looking at the vision. We always talk about vision here at Salesforce. We always talk about ideas. I mean, it's the idea that the thought of you've got to fail 1,000 times to find that one time. What's your vision when you look forward a year, 3 years, 5 years of what you want to do with your business in the community, and just in the world?
Gosh, there's so many different areas. I have a foundation. We feed 2 million people a year. I have a goal to feed 5 million people.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm really proud of what we built there. I mean, when I was growing up, I had no money and no food, and somebody failed us at Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And I swore someday I'd do that for others, and they're just doubled and tripled. So I want to grow that. I have 15 different entities I want to grow. This is the company we're doing here with Cloud Coaching International. I want us to be the dominant force in helping companies increase their ROI on what they've spent on Salesforce and their top line, and Mark is becoming our partner to make that happen.
Great. And I know we have our session tomorrow on Friday here at Salesforce, which is still free and there are tickets available. Tell me about what's going to happen tomorrow. It's the day with Tony Robbins. I know there's more than just you speaking. Mark's going to be there. There's several other speakers. What's going to happen tomorrow?
It's going to be a 3-hour immersion session, starts at 10 a.m., where we're going to have you discover what is your competitive edge. What is it that's going to take you to the next step of your business and of your life? And it isn't just sitting, jotting some notes. We're going to go dig deep inside you and get you to make the state change. Because lots of people know what to do, but they don't do what they know.
Yeah.
So this isn't just some pump up. It's like discovering what are the triggers that make the best of you come out. And then if you lead other people, how do you use those triggers to get other people to change in rapid order?
That's amazing. And I think we've got 71 or 91,000 people registered now.
Unbelievable.
Plus, and unfortunately, we're not going to show that online, so you've got to come down and see it. One thing that sticks out, sort of jumping away from that business question, or actually, no, maybe I should jump over to Walter and ask you, Walter, as far as your vision goes, I mean, obviously we all have different perspectives. Where do you see yourself taking coaching in the cloud next year and the following years?
The whole world is going through a complete transformation. There's not a company we talk to that isn't trying to figure out how to reignite their growth. And honestly, I feel like we have a responsibility to share with them ways in which they can do that. And now that we've got technology that can finally reconnect the office and remote workers in a way that just was not possible before, and the fact that we've identified 9 very specific disciplines that high-performing sales teams can execute, the reality and the promise that was made in the early 90s where people went sent to work from home with technology that didn't really work is real right now. And our vision is to make that happen for them and to give every single company the opportunity to be the best that they can very be. The best companies around today were formed in times of crisis, either recession or depression. Companies like Exxon, Disney, right? They were formed when times were tough. And this is the time for organizations to really make the most of it and take advantage of market share opportunities. They can let the world turn, or they can take advantage of it. Our responsibility is to show them a path for take responsibility and make the most of what's available to them right now.
Right, and I know that you and Tony and our productivity department here at Salesforce, we've been working very closely around the productivity app, which is how we onboard our account executives, how we get them to succeed, how we help them move forward and maintain that momentum in an ever-changing environment. Like, not just the external, but the internal pressures that you have as well.
What we love is the idea of going into these companies and really finding the best practices. Who are the very best people, best sales leaders, sales managers, sales representatives, taking those practices and building them in a system. And with your productivity app that's coming out, we're out of our mind because now you can take that and you can get people competing for competencies. Like, it's one thing to be inspired or driven, but what you need is skill. And when you have the very best skills and you've trained those into people and people can see how strong you are or not, there's a competitiveness about that. And that allows the whole organization to grow, and that affects both top and bottom line profitability.
True, so true.
And we've been searching for an app like that, and it was just remarkable when we saw it. The elegance of it, how simple it is to use, how intuitive it is what makes it so magical.
I agree.
Right. Well, I really appreciate you both coming by, sharing your stories with us, sharing your ideas, also your visions. You know, I hope to see you back here again next year, if not sooner.
We'll look forward to it.
Thank you very much.
Please make sure people know they can download this, because any donation, this is free to download. Any donation anybody makes, the whole amount proceeds go to the Children's Hospital.
That's Pathways to Growth, 9 disciplines to create sales breakthroughs in turbulent times. Well, thank you very much, Tony.
Thanks for having
us. Walter. You guys, thank you very much. Have a good day. Back to the studio.